Hi everybody, welcome to another video. This is Josh here from the Orlando Adventure. Today I just want to talk to you guys a bit about our recent cruise experiences and ultimately kind of talk about which cruise I preferred the most out of all of them. So the past year we've gone on the Magic, a Halloween Hunt in the High Seas cruise. We've done a Mother's Day cruise on the Fantasy for a 7-night voyage to the Eastern Caribbean, and that was during the Silver Anniversary at Seas. And then our first cruise was on the Wish during a Maritime Christmas cruise. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about those and our experience on this most recent cruise and basically how it compares to some of the other cruises we've been on. Alright, so let's just get right into it. So, talk a little bit about this last cruise. We went on the Disney Magic for a Halloween on the High Seas. We actually went around September, mid-September, and this was actually because of the rates. It was actually the cheapest we could find to go on a Disney cruise. They had very affordable rates. We did Ocean View. So that's really why the deciding factor is why we went on the Magic. This was also our first time and we decided we'll give it a shot to drive to Miami. Now fortunately they have Fort Lauderdale open, so you don't have to drive all the way to Miami, but it's really only saving maybe about a half hour. So the sailing on the Disney Magic was a 4-night cruise leaving Miami. Prior to going on this cruise, I did a little bit of research looking into some of the similar cruises, and we decided to go on the Magic because it's one that I actually was kind of looking forward to. I know it had been relatively recently remodeled. I know they had the Tangled restaurant and they redid the Aqualab for the kids. So I was really looking forward to seeing all that. So let's start with the total costs. I'm not going to break down exact numbers here, but I will say 2 factors played a role into why sailing on the Magic's cheaper. One, the ship is an older ship. It's a bit smaller, so the rates are a little lower. In addition to that, it's sailing out of Miami, which I'm not sure if the port fees out of Miami are a little less, but the total package cost coming out of Miami is a little less. Going forward though, I think I may consider going out of Fort Lauderdale in the future. However, I'm more inclined to go out of Port Canaveral, being that we're here in Orlando. It's a shorter drive, about an hour from my house to the terminal. That kind of factors in a little bit, even though it's a little more expensive going out of Port Canaveral. It's the fact that I can just get there in a short time and be back home in a short amount of time as well. So I would still consider going out of Fort Lauderdale, especially if there's good rates coming out of Fort Lauderdale's port. So now let's talk about the ship itself. The Magic is definitely a smaller ship. I know I've made a comment in the video about how it feels like a smaller version of the Fantasy, but in reality the Magic was the first ship, so the Fantasy is more like a larger version of the Magic. There weren't really any points during this cruise where I felt the Magic was too small. The only downside I would say in terms of amenities and things that are on the cruise is that for younger kids, being that we have, now we have 3 younger kids, but being for younger kids that are in diapers still, the only place they can actually enjoy on the pool deck is the nephew's splash pad. Really, there's only just 3 ducks, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. It's not really a whole lot there. You can see it in one of my videos. My son still enjoyed it, but that's really all he could do. He couldn't go in the splash pad or in the pools, being that he was still in diapers and swim diapers. Otherwise, we enjoyed all the other amenities. My daughter really loved the Aqualab, the twist and spout slide, and then the pool they had there. She really enjoyed that. We didn't really get to go in the main pool, but she was okay with that. The kid pool that was back in the Aqualab was only maybe about 2 feet deep. So regardless, she still had fun there, and we all had fun all around. The food options were pretty good. They weren't as extensive as maybe the Wish or the Fantasy. The Magic has a pizza restaurant, Pinocchio's, and then on the other side they had the Duck and Diner. And then they also have Daisy Delights, which is towards the back near where Cabanas is. There's also Cabanas there, which is also feels like a smaller version of the one on the Fantasy. The options are still pretty good there. They have similar options as to the Fantasy. And then you also have your main restaurants, which you could dine in and breakfast, lunch, and then for dinner, whatever dinner you're assigned to. Now I want to talk about the accommodations. So the room we had was an Ocean View Deluxe. The room on the Fantasy we had was an Ocean View Deluxe. Neither of them were the family deluxe. I believe they're both just the regular deluxe. Regardless though, I felt like there was plenty of space for us. At the time it was myself, my wife, and the 2 kids, and you know, they're younger, they're 4 and 2, so they had plenty of space in the room. We didn't spend a ton of time in there, so really it was more of a place to go and unwind at the end of the day, or if somebody wanted to take a nap. But the room itself was nice, and the window we had was actually large. The room that we had a decent sized porthole, not as big as the one on the Fantasy where you can sit in, but it was still large enough. We still enjoyed the view. So as for the restaurants, I'm going to talk a little bit about each one of those. Overall, I really enjoyed all of the restaurants. Lumiere's had a great menu. I think my favorite restaurant, if I really had to pick one, was Animator's Palette, only because this Animator's Palette's unique when compared to the ones on the Fantasy and the Dream. This Animator's Palette has a black and white theme to it. Gradually the colors change over time, and they introduce some colors. And on Pirate Night, which we had Pirate Night at Animator's Palette, it was red, kind of dark in there. It had pirate music, so I really gave it a kind of a more piratey atmosphere. I felt like the dinner that I had there for Pirates Night was more enjoyable than the dinner we had on the Fantasy in an Enchanted Garden for Pirate Night. It was definitely a lot more themed, and I just really enjoyed it. We also had a really good time with the day. I think overall that Pirate Night that we had on the Magic was a little bit better than the one on the Fantasy. I would also say that I really enjoyed the Tangled experience. Our table was a bit far, so we didn't have a good view, so you can see that in our video. The stage was obstructed by a column, but they did move around a little bit, and then during song and dance parts, they did come by our tables to say hello. I did enjoy it. The food was good. I know it didn't get really good reviews than other reviewers, but I really wish I would have tried the Writer's Platter. It had traditional Bavarian style food items, sausages and different kinds of meats and pretzels, so I would have probably enjoyed that, but I went with something that our server recommended, which was that steak, and it was good as well, so no regrets there. So now let's just dive into the itinerary we went on this cruise. I wasn't really too keen on trying to go anywhere. Our kids are a bit young, so we were still not really too excited about getting off the ship to go and explore at Port of Calls. The only place we really wanted to go to was Castaway Cay. So really, we weren't interested in getting off at Nassau. I liked looking at the view of Nassau, but we weren't interested in getting off. So really, we just didn't care what itinerary we had for this cruise. So we really enjoyed our day on the ship, basically. So the nice thing was during Nassau Day, the ship wasn't as busy because some people were off exploring Nassau. On our cruise on the Fantasy, we did the Eastern Caribbean cruise. Our stops were at St. Martin and the British Virgin Islands, Tortola, British Virgin Islands. And I do kind of regret not getting off on those, but again, our kids are a bit younger, so probably when they get older, we'll definitely look to getting off on those stops and maybe even do a Western Caribbean and look at some of the Port of Calls there that we can get off at and book any excursions that interest us at those Port of Calls. Talking a little bit more about the length of the cruise, 4 was a pretty good length. I think anywhere between 4 and 7 is good. I lean more towards going on a longer cruise, so I really wish it was a 7-day cruise. I think for me, my perfect happy spot for going on a cruise would probably be like a 5 to 7 day cruise. You get to like know the ship better the longer you're on it. I haven't experienced anything longer than a 7-day cruise. I don't know how that would be, but definitely the 3-day cruise on the Wish felt way too short. You felt like you're basically almost done with the cruise after your first day. So if you're looking to test the waters, I guess try it, but ultimately if you're going to look to test the waters, I think you're better off testing the waters going on a longer cruise. So if this is going to be your first Disney cruise, I think you should give it a chance and just go on a longer one. Maybe go on a 4-day cruise essentially, or longer. It gives you more time to explore the ship and get to know it and get to know what cruising's like. That's at least my wish. I wish we would have gone on a longer first cruise versus a 3-day cruise. But I will say that's what got us hooked. And here we are now 3 cruises deep. We already got our 4th one planned for later this year. I kind of also want to just talk about in general, like comparing the ship. Again, the Magic felt a little smaller, but at no point did I feel like it lacked in anything. Maybe again, for just the younger kids, a splash pad, they could probably redo that area and add a little bit more, and then that complaint would basically be gone, because otherwise really enjoyed everything. We didn't get to experience the shows either. I hear they're really good, and I kind of missed out on that because our kids are always tired at the end of the evening, but all in all, we really enjoyed the Magic. I definitely would do it again, especially once it's sailing out of Port Canaveral again, which I saw they have it on the itinerary for 2025. I like the Magic. If I were to give an all-around favorite though between the Magic, the Fantasy, and the Wish, I think I would give it to the Fantasy, but that's almost by default. So, and let me explain that really. The reason I would give it to the Fantasy is we did a 7-night cruise on the Fantasy. The Fantasy is well accommodated. They have a lot of things on the ship. I love the mini golf and the pool deck and basically everything about the ship. But I think that 7-day itinerary let us get to know the ship better. We got to explore it. We got really attached to it. The 4-day itinerary on the Magic was also good, but I would have loved to go on a little bit longer itinerary. But I think regardless, I enjoyed it. The Wish is a different scenario because that was our first cruise. It was only a 3-night cruise. So I really didn't get to get a good feel for it. I really liked the ship. I know there's a lot of complaints about it regarding the elevator and the stairs and everything, but that's one ship I think I could explore more to get a better opinion of it. I'm not sure if I would like the Wish over the Fantasy, one or the other. Maybe I would still lean towards the Fantasy. The only complaint I have about the Fantasy though is, it's really a minor one. The Mickey slide that they had for kids on the Fantasy is a little bit smaller, and it only accommodates younger children. Even I wouldn't, I couldn't partake in that. And when my kids get older, they're not gonna be able to partake in it anymore. So the only thing they can partake in is the Aqueduct, which I'm sure they'll enjoy anyway. Speaking of the pool deck and the water slides, the Magic has their Twist and Spout, which is probably one of the better secondary water slides, or the yellow slides they have on their ships. Definitely better than one on the Fantasy. It's much longer and adults can go on that one. But one thing I'll say is, even though it doesn't have the Aqueduct, it still makes up for it with the Aquadunk, I think. You guys may disagree. I just feel this way about it, but the Aquadunk is definitely a quality ride. I think even though it's really short, there really wasn't much of a wait when I went on, and I could ride that thing 3 or 4 times, and it's much more of an adrenaline rush. You have to be fearless to do those. Basically, the floor drops out from under you. There you go, you're gone. So honestly, I really enjoyed that one a lot. Would I say though it would completely replace an Aqueduct? No. I think it would be nice to have all of them, obviously, but you can only fit so many on a ship, and I don't know if they would ever put that on another ship going forward, like on one of the larger ones. I don't know if there's even real estate for it, but I think it has a good package. The Magic is a good package all around. You got some good slides, you got some good pools. The Cove on the Magic is also a nice place. I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time in there, but I like the atmosphere of it, especially in the evening. It's definitely a good place to hang out, and that pool looks really nice. But yeah, I mean, if you ever look in the book on the Magic, I definitely wouldn't hesitate to do it. The only considerations are where it's sailing out of, if it's convenient for you, and if you enjoy the port of calls, the itinerary that they have for the Magic. But if you're comparing side by side, location and money is not an option, and you were considering one or the other, I might lean more towards the Fantasy just because there's more to do. One thing I always kept hearing too also about the Magic are that the crew on the Magic are better than some of the other ships. I don't know necessarily that it's any better. We've had great experience with the crews on all the other ships as well, but I will say that they were very attentive to our needs. They remembered stuff really well, and they did take good care of us, and we actually had a really good time with them. I know I've been talking more about the Fantasy and the Magic this whole time and kind of neglecting the Wish, and again, that's not because it was any lesser. We didn't get to experience it very much, and we were basically cruise novices at that point. That was our very first cruise we've ever experienced. It was only a 3-night. I really don't feel like I got to explore a ship like I did with the Fantasy and the Magic, so I'm not quite as attached to the Wish right now. I am looking forward to. We are planning on going again later this year, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna be going on the Wish for another Maritime Christmas cruise. Really looking forward to getting to know that ship. I'm gonna explore it. I really wanna see the Cove coffee shop, see the quiet cove area over there, and just kind of get the feel for that space. Plus get to experience some more things. Now that my kids are gonna be a little bit older, I can do the Incredit course with them. I'm really looking forward to doing all sorts of things, maybe doing some excursions as well. Some other things I look forward to doing too are going to Lighthouse Point. Unfortunately, right now the Wish is not going to Lighthouse Point. I would have to book a cruise on either the Magic or the Dream or the Fantasy. The Fantasy, the Wish, and the Magic all have itineraries stopping at Lighthouse Point. The Wish and soon to be Treasure don't have that on their itinerary right now. Not that I feel like it's any less. I mean, I enjoy going to Castaway Cay. We enjoy going there, so I would kind of miss that if I'm not going to Castaway Cay. But I really would like to see the new Lighthouse Point and show you guys what they have in store at Lighthouse Point. Another thing I want to talk about too is the port itself. So this obviously is maybe not as relevant anymore because now I think the Magic is going out of Fort Lauderdale. But Port Miami is not the nicest port necessarily. I know they were leasing that space, so it wasn't really Disney owned. So when you get to the port, you can't really tell it's a Disney Cruise Line port because it's not owned by them. They pretty much rented out the space. They had some signage that was Disney, a little bit more rundown than you would expect. Felt more like an older airport. But with that all said though, definitely Port Canaveral had an advantage there because they own their port. So the theming there is on point. The facilities are really kept up to date. So I think sailing out of Port Canaveral was definitely better than sailing out of Miami. Not that you're spending a whole lot of time at the port, but just again, it just didn't feel like a Disney Cruise Line port. Obviously now that's gonna be different now that they're sailing primarily out of Fort Lauderdale, so I'd love to go check that one out. The facility looks much newer. They have the Mickey arches there as you get on the ship, so I'd like to go experience that, but it looks like a similar experience to Port Canaveral. That's actually a positive that they've changed that experience. Also, adding to that, really driving to Miami, again, it's a bit far, so by the time you get there you're exhausted, and it's just the whole setup is not the same as Port Canaveral where things seem a little bit more on point, a little less confusing too. We got a little turned around getting to the port of where the loop was to get in to drop off your bag. They kind of didn't have that set up or anything, so we just basically parked in the parking garage and kind of scooted our luggage over to where the baggage guys were, and they took our bags from there. But I don't think that was the intended way to do it. I think it's supposed to be similar to they do at Port Canaveral where you drive up and they come pick them up. It's a little bit confusing at Port of Miami, but again, that may change now that they're sailing primarily out of Fort Lauderdale. All right, so with all that said, kind of to summarize this whole talk, I feel like I've been rambling. You know, would I go again on the Magic? For sure. Is it my favorite one? Maybe not right now, still the Fantasy probably, but I am looking forward to going on the Wish soon, and when the Treasure and the Destiny come out, I'm looking forward to all three of those ships. Really, I think what it comes down to is this: if you're a Disney fan and you enjoy cruising, go Disney Cruise Line. Even for adults, there's a lot of things to do. Even if you're not that big of a Disney fan, they still have some good adult amenities, the Quiet Cove. I think what you're getting on a Disney cruise is the service and the experience. Yes, there's a lot of Disney themed, and sometimes it can be maybe more in your face if that's not your thing, but it's all optional. You don't have to attend the parties in the lobby or whatever. The characters are going to be there, there are shows, but really, you know, they have the Senses Spa, which I would like to show you guys a little bit more of in the future. They have the adult beach at Castaway Cay, they have the Cove. All of those things really cater to adults, and even if you're not the biggest Disney fan, I think you can still find some value in that, which makes it worth it. And the service is bar none, so I mean, again, I haven't been on any other cruises, but from what I hear, compared to Royal and the other ones, Disney's cruise line is kind of a tier above. I also hear the food is better too, and we haven't had any issues with food. All right, so this is a really short one though, but I did want to talk about it, just get it out there. I know it's been kind of long since I released my cruise videos. We went on this cruise again back in September. It's taken me some time to get some of these videos out. But if you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing. So again, small creator, and every subscription helps, every like helps get my video out to more people. And also put some comments down below. Give me some ideas of what you guys want to see. I also like going to the theme parks. I like going around places Orlando. Again, I'm at Lake Apopka again, and I would love to go explore some nature things. cruise. Some other things I want to explore are considering doing a Disney race. So getting back into shape and doing that. I might start vlogging my pursuit of getting back to racing and maybe doing that with a Disney race in the future. With all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you did, give me a thumbs up and just let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on these cruises. I really enjoy going on these cruises, going to be going on Disney cruises again. I may consider in the future going on other cruise lines, but ultimately I'm pretty sure I'll just come right back to doing a Disney one. We're also considering doing a kind of a staycation here and visiting some of the resorts here at Walt Disney World. And if we do that, I'll definitely will share it with you guys. With that being said, I'm gonna end the video here, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm half afraid like an alligator is gonna come out of this lake and just get me. I don't know if you've seen pictures of Lake Apopka Trail or Lake Apopka, whatever they have. This place is full of gators. Probably keep an eye out where I'm walking because I'm right in their prime territory. Anyway,